Will Hardy let us know how he feels about no restraints on who he plays. Let's talk about it. It's Hoopsner Show. All right, guys, like always, like the video, subscribe to the channel. I think I had the volume down on that, so I apologize, but we're just going to power through. Okay. This latest little bit of news came from Andy Larsen of the Salt Lake Tribune. Shout out to Andy Larsen, friend of the show. Make sure if you need one, go get a subscription to the Tribune and follow Andy. He does great work. This from Andy Larsen today I thought was really interesting. Probably not a big surprise, but we'll go through it anyway. Anyways, Andy Larsen was at that coaching clinic that Will Hardy does. I think it's for all the different coaches in the area that want to come and learn. A lot of like junior jazz coaches and things like that. But in this one, Will Hardy, here's what Andy Larsen says. Let's just read it. New Jazz president of basketball operations, Austin Ainge, indicated that the Jazz, unlike last year, would avoid sitting healthy players in the service of acquiring a higher draft pick. When asked if he was excited to coach a team without those restraints, Hardy said a two-word answer: very, very. Which is great. I actually personally think this is a great way to go about it too. What makes me happy at this point about this is that the Utah Jazz finally moved on from the veterans. John Collins, Colin Sexton, Jordan Clarkson. They finally ripped off that Band-Aid so that they can play these players. All the young players that they should have been playing more minutes than those guys the whole time. And they would have had this type of mentality before had they done this. It's why I'm happy that Austin Ainge is now here, because he was willing to make those moves. He said he'd make moves, and he made them. And, you know, there might have been a little bit of flack for the Colin Sexton trade, but you know what? Anything he gave up in that, which was just a second-round pick, he made back in other moves, like the George Niang trade, where he got two second-round picks back. Gave a second-round pick for Colin Sexton to the Hornets, received two back from the Boston Celtics in the George Niang trade. So everything worked out. Utah was able to move those contracts and really just clear the deck for their young players. Now, speaking of George Niang, this type of news affects him. He's going to play. Utah is going to play the best players on their roster. That means Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler, they're going to play. Now, in terms of restraints, do we have minute limits? Maybe. I don't know if we've heard that, but they're not going to be sitting out for like a stuffy nose or, you know, like a hangnail or random injuries, you know, back tightness, right? Those things aren't going to happen anymore. They're going to play, and Will Hardy is going to play to win games. This is what it should have always been, because if Utah had set their team up to lose these games but play to win, it would have been better. And to be honest, this is just better culture anyway. If you have this set up like this, then your culture is going to improve because you play to win. And if you play to win and you lose, so be it. But in these situations where you have, you know, veteran players playing for a contract versus young players just trying to figure out how to win in the NBA, it's not a good mixture. And honestly, it's just frustrating it took this long, but they finally did the right thing. Okay, and they almost got the number one pick last year, but even if they had gotten Cooper Flagg, I don't know if the infrastructure of this team is there yet. I do think that if they go how they are now, and we'll see how many games they win. I went through in my last video, you can go watch it, it was the live stream. We went through and picked winners and losers for the entire season. I think we're going to lose a lot of games, and I think that the Jazz want to make sure they get that top 8 pick, because if they don't, they give it away to Oklahoma City, and Utah will literally have 0 draft picks next draft if they don't keep their pick. So Utah is very worried about that. They also are worried about playing to win games, so their young players are in a team construct and culture, or whatever you want to call it, where you're playing to win. And the best players play, and if you don't raise your level of play, you don't play. But at the same time, because you've cleared the deck, the young players will play. Ace Bailey's going to play, and I hope he starts. We'll see if he starts. I hope he does. If Will Hardy starts George Niang over Ace Bailey, I'm going to lose my mind. By the way, Andy Larsen in this article talked about that and talked to Will Hardy about that. Sounds like Will Hardy is excited about Ace Bailey. Basically, what he says is that, he's going to have to adjust a little bit offensively. Speaking of Ace Bailey, playing off the ball, he talked about how Ace Bailey's a good cutter, cutting to the basket. He liked the effort from Bailey in the Summer League. We only got 2 games of it, and I think Will Hardy was hoping to see more from him, as all of us were, which was nice to hear. It sounds like that hip flexor was a legit thing, and so it sucked that we didn't get to watch him even 1 game in Vegas. But those 2 games in Salt Lake, we did see that he was long and he's big, and that's one thing that Will Hardy mentioned, is that Ace Bailey's size is going to help him out a lot when he's on the floor. So if Ace Bailey can defend, he will stay on the floor, and if he's hitting threes and cutting to the basket and driving and playing within the offense, then he'll play. And, this is the way you want it to be. You want your players to earn their minutes, and you want your roster to just have the best players playing. And whoever is the best you earn minutes by playing the best. That's just how it has to go. And that's how you get a winning culture, And if certain players aren't defending, talking about everyone on the team, including Lauri Markkanen, then you can get replaced. And, Taylor Hendricks is coming back. Ace Bailey is going to be there. Utah is going to have young legs, super athletic. The width, like the length and size of Ace Bailey and Taylor Hendricks is exciting. So this is going to push Lauri Markkanen as well. And Walker Kessler also. I mean, you can just imagine. I mean, the athleticism and length and youths of Walker Kessler, Ace Bailey, and Taylor Hendricks in that front line is exciting. And then obviously Lauri Markkanen too, who can basically play with all 3 in different lineup rotations. So really exciting stuff. This upcoming draft, Utah has to win. I would love for them to get a top 3 pick, because all 3 picks would be incredible. It's pretty exciting to think about what happens if they get the number 1 and they go after someone like Darren Peterson or AJ DeBonsa. But this season is going to be big because of the fact that these players will play, and Will Hardy is going to play whoever he wants, unrestricted. It's going to help us find out who's who and who's not. And I just am excited to see what this Jazz team does. So that was exciting to see. Guys, like and subscribe to the channel. Shout out to the All-Stars. I appreciate you so much, and all the members who support the channel. Thank you to all of you. I will talk to you next time.